everyone, welcome back. I am sitting in my studio, of course, drinking a cup of chai in my fall mug, pumpkin spice and chill. I'm going to be working on the binding for the quilt that I just finished last weekend. I had hoped to have it done by today. The goal was to get it done yesterday and gift it to the person today at church, but that didn't happen. So, oh my gosh, that's so good. First of all, let me explain something to you. I absolutely love Indian food. I think, I don't even know. I love Indian food so much, and I have wanted to learn how to cook a lot of the dishes, Indian dishes, because I love the food. And so at work, in the front office, there are two Indian ladies that I have befriended, and I love them to pieces. They are very sweet. And they have kind of taken me under their wings, and they're teaching me little by little the easy things to make. And so a couple of weeks ago, I made a dish called palak paneer. Oh my goodness, when I tell you, that was good. And it's spinach. It's made with spinach, and I love spinach, and I always have since as a little girl. I was never one of those kids that didn't want to eat their spinach. In fact, Mom opened up cans of spinach, and I was the only one to eat it, me and her. Yes, that's the 2-year-old. Again, welcome to my world. And he's gonna keep trying. I'll be out in a minute. Be right back. Okay, pardon that interruption. Not an interruption. He needed to see his Mimi. And right after I paused the video, he says, Mimi, I need to come in. Let me in. Lord, where was I? Have no clue. Oh, the quilt. I had hoped to have that quilt finished and ready to go to the person I was gifting it to, but that didn't happen. Why? Because life happens. That's not where I was. And so these two ladies have taken me under their wing and are slowly teaching me some of the simpler dishes of the Indian cuisine. I had no clue. In our school, we have a lot of the Indian subs, Lord, forgive me for that. A lot of our subs are of Indian ethnicity, and I absolutely love it. I do, I love it. Had no idea. I've gotten history lessons, cooking lessons, and I am absorbing all of it, okay? Had no clue that there was a big difference between Southern Indians and Northern Indians, and the difference between how they cook and some of the things that they do. They're teaching me about their festivals and celebrations and holidays. Not that I ever plan to, go down that road, but it is nice to know about the different cultures. And I've always enjoyed different cultures. Can I just say, squirrel? The view out of this window is absolutely amazing to me. Granted, I'm looking out into the parking lot of our complex, and so I see 1,000,001 cars, but these trees, as the colors are changing, is absolutely stunning. Now, will I say that in winter when all the leaves are gone? I don't know. But right now, this view is gorgeous. And I'm just taking it all in. So with that being said, I've been, taking it all in of everything that they have been sharing with me, and I am genuinely interested in all of it, the different holidays they celebrate and what this festival means and what this festival is. And they just celebrated a festival called Diwali, and it went on for a week or so, week and a half or something like that, a week, I believe. And there's a part of the Diwali festival where the children, if there were siblings in our school, there was a day that they did not come to school because they were still celebrating. And that particular day of the Diwali celebration was for siblings. And it's just a time for them to celebrate one another, bond with one another, and celebrate being siblings. And I thought that was pretty cool. So, with all these recipes I have been learning, I asked them, listen, the chai latte from Starbucks is super sweet. It's death straight to your veins. Like, if you were not diabetic before you took a sip, you will be after you take a sip. It's so sweet. I said, but teach me how to make an authentic cup of chai. And when I tell you, they started sharing all the things. Did not know that there were so many nuances to chai. Now I know, like in Kenya, they have chai. They use different spices, and I think there's a core spice or two that is very similar no matter where you get it from. But then all of the other spices you can add to it, I had no clue. But they were so nice and informative. Like, they don't hesitate. You tell them you're interested, and they're like, oh baby, let me tell you the rest, kind of thing. And so they told me, get this spice, this spice, this spice. And I'm like, okay. And so I have learned to make an authentic cup of chai. And I try to have at least 1 cup a day. Especially on the weekends. I may not get it Monday through Friday as often as I'd like, but on Saturday and Sunday, baby, I have a cup a day, if not 2. And I enjoy it. Hence my big old mug of chai, and it is delicious. Absolutely delicious. So, not sharing any sewing or anything like that. I know I'll be working on this binding, but there was some things I wanted to share with you as to what I have coming up, changing, all that good stuff. I'm gonna be working on this binding, and I have 2 tools. I have the binding tool. But I also have the folded corner clipper by Creative Grids. This one, the binding tool, is the Quilter's Mercantile. And it says 2009. So I have this, and I've had it for a long, long time. But then I have the folded corner clipper. Now I may end up using this just because I'm talking and I don't want to screw anything up. With this one, I have to focus. So it's here in case I decide to use it, but this one's here too because it just is what it is, right? And I got all these strips. So while I'm working, I will be chatting. I have been doing YouTube videos for a long time. I had a YouTube channel previously, not too long after YouTube started. And hold on, let me read this ruler. Oh, this is for when I'm done, but I can still use it. Let me pull out my creator's grids. let's just make this easier on my brain. And then I don't know if I shared, things happened within my life and I did not want the memories. And so, or it was hard to look back on my YouTube channel knowing, oh, in that season of life, this was going on, that was going on. And it brought a lot of pain and heartache to look back at those videos. I wish, however, that I had kept that channel, but I didn't. And so I have started my channel over a few times now. I started it over some time back and thought, oh, I'm done with YouTube. I'll watch, I'll be a consumer, but I won't contribute. I'll just be a consumer. But I feel like I have more to give than to just consume. I may not be everybody's cup of tea or chai, which is tea in Indian. Or means tea in Indian. I may not be everyone's cup of tea. Everyone may not like my style, and that's okay. But somebody likes my style. Something I say is useful to someone. And so with that being said, I feel like I have a purpose on YouTube. Not to mention that I also want to make this a business, and I have for a long time. So with that being said, I have heard the Lord say to me, or felt impressed that the Lord was saying to me, that He's given me everything that I need right here in my home, with my gifts, my talents, as well as the things that He has blessed me to obtain. And that all I need to do is basically step out on faith and do the doggone thing, right? And I have waffled back and forth for a long time until this time. And so I'm like, I need to take this seriously. And I need to get busy. There are things I need to do. There are things I want to do. And I can do none of it if I am not being obedient to the Holy Spirit and what He tells me. Right? And that's anybody, not just me. You cannot have what God has promised you if you are not obedient to follow the leading and prompting of the Holy Spirit when He gives you something to do, or leads you or guides you in the way that He would have you to go. And I have had my share of being disobedient. I have had my share of walking in fear. I have had my share of watching others move forward with the plans that I know God has shown me, or the visions and plans that God has shown me and given me. And then I sit back and go, oh my gosh, I remember when I woke up with that in my heart to do and I didn't move forward with it. Here's the thing. God will give you the plans that He has for you. You can forfeit that, but whatever He's trying to do, He's going to get it out there either through you or someone else. And so twice, I kid you not, He has done exactly that. Before YouTube became a really big thing, maybe some of you know Vanessa from Crafty Gemini. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning before I knew anything about her. And everything that she did was what God had shown me in a vision. And I was so scared. And I thought I needed all of this special equipment. I thought, well, first of all, I thought, oh, I am not eloquent of speech to be able to do that. Who's gonna listen to me? No one. Nor was I comfortable enough in my own skin to step out and do any of what God was showing me. Not introverted me. I'm not doing that. And I went on to be a part of her online quilting club or quilt group. Were we a club? We called ourselves a club. And that's where I met Dana with Essence of Me. That's where I first met her. And I mean, everything she was doing, minus the brick and mortar. When she got to the point of doing brick and mortar, I was like, okay, that's not something God showed me to do, but I kid you not. I was impressed to do videos teaching people how to make simple things. Baby bibs, beginner quilt blocks, just all the things. And I didn't move forward with it. So that didn't come to pass. I was a consumer. And I consumed YouTube voraciously. YouTube became my TV. I had my favorites that I watched daily, weekly, monthly, however often they posted. I consumed. And I thought, well, there's just too many people out there now doing this, that, and the other, that it's too saturated. So I did nothing with that vision. I'm not skilled enough. I'm not qualified. I'm not eloquent of speech. I don't have the fortitude to do what they're doing. So I didn't do anything but consume more YouTube. And then even at that point, I was like, you know, I have a desire to learn how to free motion quilt. I want a long arm to do it. And once I'm able to do it with some kind of expertise, then I want to do live YouTube shows of quilting on the long arm. And I will call that show oh gosh, what was the name I just said? Live? Quilting Live with, and then I had my my channel name. That's what I was gonna call the show. I'm like, there's nobody doing it, and I just need to get a long arm so that I could do it. Blah, blah, blah. And I consumed and could not move forward because long arms were just so expensive. And I would say, Lord, why do you give me these visions when I can't afford to go get what it is I need to get to do what I need to do? When I say fast forward, 2 years ago, and I know she's been doing it longer than that, but 2 years ago, I found Stitched by Susan. And I was like, no way. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is the exact thing that the Lord showed me in my vision. She's doing it, and she's doing it well. That looks like it's too much that I'm about to cut off. Hold on. Let me be careful here. Sorry. Oh, that's because you got it the wrong way, Tasha. Thank God I checked. I'm cutting my corners off. Let me show you what I'm doing. Hold on a sec. Because I can't put the camera down here to show you what I'm doing. So I'll show you this way. So, cut off the ends of it, of each strip, and then lay them out the way that you're gonna sew them for your binding. So I've cut that off. See, 2 ends, cut off, overlap, lay them, and then when I come back and stitch them, that will be my binding. When I open it up, it will be my binding. So, and I was about to cut it the wrong way. So I was a consumer again, watching her show every other week or as often as she was able to come on and do it. And every time I watched it, I'm like, this is exactly what God showed me in my vision. And my thought was immediately, and she was the only one that I knew doing it at the time. And I thought, it's too saturated again. There's nothing I can do. Like, who's gonna watch me? And I don't have a long arm, and I don't know how to free motion quilt. Who's gonna watch me when I don't know what I'm doing, right? And so I didn't give up on it. I just thought I have to be able to get a long arm, so on and so forth. Well, the Lord blessed me to get a long arm. And I named her Stella, not because of Susan Smith. Like, the name I had way back, I don't know when, before I even had a long arm. And so then I thought, there's no way I can do this and have my machine the same name as hers. She's absolutely gonna think that I'm copying, and I'm not. So I named her Stella anyway. I mean, all of my machines have a name. They're named after the most important people in my lives. This machine here is Ruby. That is named after my mom. My other sewing machine is named Mary, and that is after my aunt. And then I have Pearl, my embroidery machine, and that is named after another one of my aunts. And so all of my machines are named after someone very near and dear to my heart. Stella, I named Stella because maybe some of you all saw the movie How Stella Got Her Groove Back. Was that, oh gosh, was her name Toni Morrison, I believe? And it was a book at first. So that is where I got the name, because there was marital situations, there was separation, and I thought, when I get my long arm, Stella is going to help me get back in the game of life, being able to provide for my children as a single parent. It's going to bring me the income or extra income that I need to do the things with and for them that is needed. And so that is where I came up with the name Stella. I don't know the story of Susan Smith's Stella, but she has a machine, a long arm, and her long arm is named Stella as well. So I say that to let you know I'm not copying this woman. I promise you I'm not. But after finding her channel, then I began to see other people come on YouTube and have, now she calls hers live and unscripted. And I absolutely love the title of her show. And you know, she's been doing free motion quilting for many, many years. And she is absolutely amazing with her gift. She really, really is. I admire her, and hope to one day meet her in person. Not only to just tell her how much I admire her, but to glean from her in this business, one-on-one, not through a YouTube video, but just one-on-one, and glean the good, the bad, the ugly, the ins, the outs, all that, right? That is a dream of mine. So again, like I said, I thought, oh, it's saturated, there's no way. And I don't know the skill. Like, she's perfected her skill, and she's an amazing teacher. And then I was able to sign up for her classes, her master class, and I'm going through that. And this stuff has just been going on through my head of how do I do this and not have imposter syndrome, not feel like I am copying off of someone else's skill or piggybacking off of something that they've come up with and created. And the other day, I was telling my son, sorry, I'm just checking my measurements. My son, as we were talking about home-based businesses and, you know, going after what it is you want to do and what you feel gifted to do. And my daughter is wanting to start her own business, making candles, and he said something about the market being saturated. And I said, the market can never be saturated. This is what I'm telling him and her. We're all in a group chat. The market can never be saturated because what she brings to the table will always be different from what someone else brings to the table. And because it's different, there is a client base that wants what she has to offer. There's a client base that wants what someone else has to offer in the candle making business. Like, she may use, you know, different scents or specific scents, or hers may come from a health conscious kind of attitude. Someone else may be doing something totally different. She may have, things floating in her candles to just set them off and set them apart. Like, it can't be saturated because she's different than anyone else. And so what she has to offer will always be different than what someone else has to offer. It was in that moment that I said that. I felt like the Lord hit me over the head with, excuse me, a spiritual 2x4. In that very moment, I stopped texting and just sat there and stared at my phone, and I'm like, whoa. And it's as if the Lord tapped me on the shoulder and said, did you hear yourself? Did you hear yourself encouraging your children that the market can never be saturated because they are unique and their gifts and talents are unique, even if they're doing something similar to someone else? And because I made them so different and unique, what they have to offer will never be like everyone else. It will always be their unique own thing. Okay, Lord, I got you. I hear you. And it lit a fire under me. A whole fire. So, I began to pray and ask God if it was not too late. First, I apologized. I asked for forgiveness. Where did I put mine? There it is. I asked for forgiveness for not being obedient the 2 times he gave me what he had in mind for me. I asked for forgiveness for my disobedience. And then I asked him if it was not too late to show me what to do and how to do it. And so I believe in my heart and in my spirit that he has given me something. That's not the right size. Did I start making them a different size? That's weird. Hold on. So I started cutting them one size. Well, that's not even 2 1/4. And I think I was cutting them at 2 1/4. I started at 2 1/4. What did I do with the rest of these? Child, who knows? That's 2 1/4. Sorry. Because apparently when I cut these, I don't know what I was thinking. Measure twice, cut once. These are 2 1/4. These two are 2 and almost 1/4. So hopefully I won't need these because I don't think I have any more of that fabric left. and that is a big quilt. So that, of course, this has to be Joanne fabric, right? There is no more Joanne. There is no more getting this fabric, right? It's just not gonna happen. And it suddenly got dark. I turned this light off because it seemed like it was too much. But maybe we will do that. Okay, sorry. So I am going somewhere with this story. So once again, I'm sleeping as usual, and he always gives me these visions, dreams, and ideas when I'm sleeping. And then when I wake up, my mind is racing. Like, okay. This time, however, I'm usually like, oh, I gotta get busy. And this time, I kind of took my time and rested in what he gave me and asked for wisdom and direction. What I'm not used to, as many people are not, is being still and listening for the direction. We get an idea, a notion, or hear his voice or see the vision, and we want to go full force into what he has, or what he's shown, or what he's given. And he does not operate in that way. He wants you to know. Sometimes he shows you, this is what I have. Sometimes he'll show you the end, but he does not always show you the in-between. And the reason for that, I believe, is if he shows you the in-between, you'll do it without him. And he does not want us to do anything without him. He wants to be in the mix of our lives, in the mix of the vision and dreams that he has given us. Otherwise, we would be saying that we did it in our own power and our own strength and our own might, when his word clearly says we can do nothing on our own. It is by his might, his power, his strength that we are able to do things. Actually, I think that scripture says it is God who gives wealth, something of that nature. We cannot get wealth in our own power and strength. So I decided to sit on it and just keep writing down or making mental notes of what I felt the Lord was saying to me. And in doing so, I came up with this whole, I didn't, he did. And now I'm like, okay, Lord, how do I implement it? How do I do it? Because I don't know how to use my long arm fully. I don't know how to free motion quilt. Not eloquently enough or classy enough to teach anyone else how to do it, or to have designs that I can do. Like, my favorite stitch is the meander stitch, and I keep hearing people saying that is the most difficult stitch. I've been doing that on my domestic and now on the long arm, and it has always been the easiest one for me. Now these loops, that's a different story. Child, listen here, I can't get these circles to look like circles for anything. A pebble, what? They look like teardrops half the time, okay? So, I'm like, I don't have the skill set to teach anyone how to do this. I'm still trying to learn. And in that time span, I signed up for Susan Smith's free motion masterclass. And I am so stoked to finally be taking this class, to learn the different stitches and be able to quilt my quilts and others without the use of a computer, because I don't have that. Those things are expensive. I want one at some point in time, because I would love to be able to not just finish a quilt, but while one is working on the long arm, I can be sitting down working on my next project, be it a custom quilt or whatever. I want to create patterns, make patterns and sell them, you know, all those things. So I don't want to have to, you know, stand there and do the free motion quilting all the time. I would love to have it computerized sometimes. So here's what I believe I have come up with. First things first, I have to rebrand my channel. And when that thought hit me, I thought, again, like, people are gonna get so tired of me changing the name of my channel. But it makes sense. It only makes sense to rebrand the channel if what I'm trying to do is to take this and be a business. I can't have a channel, I could, but I can't have a channel where I'm wanting to focus on quilting and sewing and it have gardening, plant-based eating, all of the things. Faith is gonna be in any video, so that's a given. I have not gotten to this stage of my life on my own, and I am not leaving him out of anything that I put my hands to. So that's a given, and anyone who does not like that is free to click off and watch someone else's channel, because I will never change that. He is the one that gives me the breath of life. He breathes the breath of life into my lungs daily, and so I will never stop including him in what I put my hands to. Not now or ever. So I'm like, I have to rebrand the channel, which means I have to change the name. And I'm like, oh, people are gonna get so sick of me changing the name. I'm sick of changing the name. And then I'm like, what am I gonna change it to? Well, I have some ideas. And they are some really awesome ideas. And I didn't come up with those ideas on my own. I think I either did a Marco Polo video with Dana, or maybe I text. I don't even know how it came to be. But she gave me the idea of using ChatGPT to come up with a new name. And I typed into the description what my channel is going to be focused on, and it popped out a ton of names, and now I'm trying to narrow it down. I've narrowed it down to 5, and I think there were either 15 or 20 names, and I've narrowed it down to 5. If I'm really serious, I've narrowed it down to 3. So I'm still at that phase. So I will be rebranding my channel so that it goes in the direction that I want my business to go into. So there's that. So there will be a name change. And then I don't know if any of you know or remember Nancy Zeman. She used to be on PBS. She is now passed away, and she is sorely missed by me for sure, but by many others I know. She was a force to be reckoned with in the industry of sewing. But on her channel on PBS, she did sewing, she did quilting, she did all the things. She did some crafting, but she mostly focused on sewing, and then did some quilting, some embroidery. She just showed what you can do in this industry with a sewing machine, right? And so she had a thing. At first, let me even see when this came out, because the first time I heard about this was on her show. This was 92. So it had to be in the 80s. It had to be in the 80s. And on her show on PBS, I think the show was called Sewing with Nancy. She had a thing of sewing for 30 minutes. And there's another YouTuber that sews clothing, and so she has a live show where she's sewing in 30 minutes. And she gives accolades and props to Nancy Zeman, because that's who started this, to be honest. And so I'm not sewing clothes. I'd love to learn to sew my own clothes, but I'm not sewing clothes. And my thought has been, how can I incorporate that? Because I don't have a lot of time. When I was a stay-at-home homeschooling mom, I could sit and sew while they were doing their lessons. So I had hours to sew. When they were finished with their lessons and were outside playing, I could sew. But I don't have that now. Working full-time, caring for my disabled husband, being the breadwinner, the caregiver, the everything, and sometimes, you know, caring for my grandsons when necessary. I don't have that time to leisurely sit at my sewing machine or my long arm every day for 2 and 3 hours. Would love to. On a Saturday, yeah, I could do that. On a Sunday, I could do that. But Monday through Friday, I don't have that luxury anymore. I wish I did, but I don't. I would love, absolutely love, to have this be a full-time business where I don't have to walk out my door, the introvert in me is talking right now, and work for anybody but myself, me and Jesus. But until that time comes, I have to divide my time between my dream and reality. And so I got to thinking, how can I do this? How on earth can I do this? Let's head to the ironing station and I'll tell you. All right, although I'm not showing you what I'm doing, I do kind of want to tell you what I'm doing. Moving the TV out of the way. I still have to mount my TV, but I've got all my binding. I have not sewn it together yet. I am going to glue glue-based? I don't know. But I'm gonna glue it together. I've pinned it all in the way that I want it to go. And I'm gonna put some glue on there and press it with the iron. And then when I take it to my sewing machine, it'll be all together, held together with the glue. the heat sets it. But when you put it in the wash, the glue will wash right out. But I want to do this so that, where's the other end of it? So that I don't have to, where is the other end of it? Lord have mercy. This is hilarious. So that I don't have to keep the pins in it, but it will all be held together and I can just sew. Where was I? So, Nancy Zeman, sorry for stepping out of frame. She had this 30-minute sewing, and her whole thing was, you know, everybody doesn't have the full day to sit in front of their sewing machine and just sew for hours and hours and hours up on end and then end up with a finished garment, because at that point it was just, her channel was just, her show was just on garment sewing. And so she came up with this thing of, if you can sew at least 30 minutes every day, that by the time you're finished, within a week, you should have a finished garment. And so, you know, she'd say the first part might be prepping your pattern and your fabric, and then cutting your pattern out, and then basting what needs to be basted, or stay stitching what needs to be stay stitched, or whatever the case may be. And by the end of the week, you end up with a totally finished garment. I look so dark in this, but I don't want to be washed out either. And so she came up with that 30-minute sewing. And I loved the idea. She then came out with a book called 10, 20, 30. If you have 10 minutes to sew, 20 minutes to sew, 30 minutes to sew, or whatever, there are things that you can do each time. And again, by the end of the week or whatnot, you end up with, maybe not even the week, but you end up with a finished garment. So she's got, let's see. I absolutely love this woman. She was amazing. She goes through organizing your task. 20 minutes of pre-treating your fabric. 10 minutes of getting all your project ingredients together. 10 minutes of preparing all pattern pieces. 20 minutes to alter the pattern. 30 minutes to cut out the garment. 10 minutes marking the garment pieces. 30 minutes to test and apply fusible interfacing. 10 minutes to divide pattern pieces into construction units. 10 minutes to set up your machine. I mean, the whole book goes through, it breaks it down. And you apply this to each segment of making a garment, and you end up in no time, not in a day, but you end up in no time with a garment that is finished and ready to wear, right? So my thought is, why not apply that to quilting? I can carve out 30 minutes in my day. I can carve out 30 minutes in my evening. When I get home, I have, I get home, we eat dinner fairly early. So I have a little bit of time. I can't even pinpoint the amount of time, but I have enough time where I can carve out 30 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever the case may be. The goal and the aim will be 30 minutes, right? To carve out some time to dedicate to coming into my studio and putting that time into my craft, my business, whatever the case may be. I might need to create a website or set up newsletter, set up social medias, because I'm not on anything and I really don't want to be. We'll see how that goes. Editing a video, getting a video out there, coming in here and being able to sew and work on a new quilt, or designing a quilt, or practicing, you know, for class on the long arm. So that is the direction that I'm going to take my channel and my business. 1, the name change. 2, rebranding it and directing it to do at least, or at most, we'll say at most, maybe at least 30 minutes. I might only get 10 minutes in there. I might be blessed to get an hour in there. But if I can get 30 minutes to pour into what God has given me, I think I can really make something of this. So 10, 20, 30. I'm going in that direction. I'm going in that direction and focusing my business, my time on my business, because if I never do it, it'll never get done. And I'll always be saying, I wish I had had the time to do. And the reality is God has given me the time to do. I just need to get busy doing what He's given me. And that may mean that instead of scrolling on YouTube, because I don't scroll anywhere else, instead of scrolling on YouTube, I need to focus my time on finishing or working on a project. Or doing something pertaining to my business. I have taxes I need to do. I need to set up a website. I need to create a newsletter. I need to do all the things behind the scenes that, you know, you don't see in a business, but you know it's there. I need to do all those things. I need to be able to learn the skill set for what it is I want to do. And maybe that means taking that 30 minutes and bringing you along with me while I am practicing those stitches from class. So, with that being said, in the comments, tell me your thoughts. I hope you'll join me for the ride. This is my dream. This is my heart's desire. I have put it before the Lord time and time again, and He's given me the vision to do what my heart desires. And I have fumbled the ball twice. I dare not fumble it a third time. I have written the vision, I have made it plain, and He has given me the steps to get started, and fear and trepidation, imposter syndrome, whatever you want to call it, has kept me stagnant for far too long. And I dare not go before Him one day and He asked me, what did you do with the talents that I gave you? And I tell Him, I buried them. With as good of a God that He is, with as generous of a God that He is, as loving as He is, as kind and as just as He is, do I dare say, oh, because I was afraid, not of you, just of myself and other people and what they would say or not, or how they would support or not. I just did nothing. And I just kept those talents to myself. And, you know, I made quilts, and I taught my grandsons to sew, and I taught my children to sew. But aside from that, I did nothing else. And I look and see all of the things that he had for me, and I squandered. Hold on. Do y'all know I just learned this new piece? It's not new. This new thing is not new. I keep saying that. This thing that I can do on my tripod that I did not know I could do. My goodness. I had to tilt it because I don't think everybody out there in the world wants to see that. And I'm going to say it, and I know Dana's going to be like, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. She already know. Baby, I am a proud member of the We Do Not Care Club. But I don't think the world wants to see that I don't have on a bra. Don't think the world wants to see. I don't care. I could care less. 5 years ago, I might have cared. 10 years ago, I would have cared drastically. Now, I do not care. I absolutely do not care at all. If you're offended, this channel might not be for you. If it bothers you, this channel ain't for you. If it rubs you the wrong way, find somebody else to watch and follow. I'm not the one. Because I do not care. Something happens, not only when you hit your 50s, something happens when you start going through perimenopause and menopause. You just don't care. You just don't care. And you start questioning yourself, like, why did you care that anybody cared? Why was that even a thought on your mind that you had to be concerned with what other people were thinking and saying about you? I do not care. Do not. I know Dana's going to be like, oh my Lord, this girl. But I think she also knows me by now that I really do not care. I love my friend. She is more a sister than friend to me. I absolutely love her, but she knows me by now. I don't care. So, yeah, in the comment section, tell me your thoughts. Hopefully you'll stick around for the journey. If not, I thank you for being here in the time that you were. And if you stick around, thank you. I appreciate you. I don't know what God has in store. I know what He's shown me, but I don't know the ins and outs of how He plans to get me there. He doesn't show you all the details. He shows you one thing at a time. So you don't get ahead of Him. You don't get to say it was all you're doing. You don't get to bask in the glory. You only get to hold His hand and walk with Him step by step. Sometimes slow steps, sometimes fast steps. At any rate, He's with you in every step. And so I'm just going to see where this goes. Maybe it goes nowhere. I don't know. But I am not, like I said, going to stand before Him and say, yeah, you showed me that, 3 times and I did nothing with it. I fumbled the ball twice. I'm not fumbling the ball a 3rd time. Not anymore. Not anymore. Not when I want to leave a legacy to my grandchildren and their children and their children. Like, I want to change the whole trajectory for my family, for generations and generations and generations to come. I want to be the one. And I have said that for years. Started with my faith. I wanted to be the game changer in faith for my family. And so I'm going to climb the mountains. I'm going to be in the valleys, but I'm going to do it holding his hand. And I'm going to take this wherever he sees fit to take it. With that being said, I am not going to keep y'all on here much longer. If you've stuck around for this long, thank you, because I know it's long, but I appreciate you. I hope I've not bored you. I hope I've given you something to think about. Maybe not business, maybe just in everyday life, of God giving you something and telling you something to do. Maybe you're sitting around waiting for him to show you the next step when he's just asking you to take the first step that he's already given you. Maybe you're waiting for the end to see, okay, if I do this, what will happen at the end? What's the end result? And all he's asking you to do is take the first step. Hold his hand and take step 1. Or you've taken step 1. Sorry about that. You've taken step 1, and now he's saying, okay, let's take the second step. And you're still waiting, like, okay, if I took step 1, I still don't know what the end is going to look like. And now you're asking me to take step 2, and this just does not seem to be worth my time. Just do it. Because he's not going to take you down a wrong path. That we know. He's not going to lead you into something that's going to hurt you. He is going to grow you and stretch you in whatever he takes you through. But it's all for his glory and your good. So why not just take the steps? See what he has for you. And be amazed, because whatever he has is going to blow your mind. I'm going to take this step. A year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, whatever the case may be. I'm going to look back at this moment. Not going to get emotional, but I just feel it in my bones that I'm going to look back at this moment, here and now, October 2025, and I'm going to say, I'm so glad I took that step. I'm so glad I did not let go of his hand, and I did it afraid, alone, not really, because he's with me every step of the way. And that I could have never imagined my life the way it is if I had not taken that step. I can't imagine. I cannot. I just know he's going to blow my mind. And if that's you too, he's going to blow your mind too. Just take the step and do what it is he's telling you to do. Hold his hand. Knees knocking. Tummy turning. Shaking in your boots. Do it anyway. I dare you. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate every one of you. And again, if you've stuck along with me through all of this, because I know it was long, I appreciate you more than words can say, or more than you'll ever know. I'll see you on the next video. Take care. God bless. Bye.